Hundreds of Afghan government troops have fled across the border into Tajikistan as the Taliban captures more territory. Taliban fighters took several districts in the northern province of Badakhshan this weekend after Afghan soldiers fled their posts. The Afghan government says it's sending reinforcements. Since America's drawdown of troops gained pace in May, the Taliban has doubled the number of districts it holds. Now, as many Afghans live under Taliban rule as those in government-controlled areas. 13 districts fell to the group on Saturday, the most in 20 years.
Thanks to God, and this was proven before, that the majority of the Afghan people in the previous era during the Taliban rule for more than 10 years. We are now in control of more than 70% of the territories. It is simply because the people know us very well and the Afghan people have no problem dealing with us. We have two main principles that we rely on when it comes to judgment. First is the blessed Islamic faith, and the second is our belief in our national identity. Within the framework of these two principles, I can assure you that we do not have any problem with anyone. We respect everyone's right.
The majority of US and NATO forces have now left Afghanistan ahead of a September 11th departure deadline. Just 650 American troops are staying back to secure the US Embassy and Kabul airport. Well, let's get a sense of who controls what in Afghanistan. As we mentioned, the Taliban is seizing districts right across the north. They've been fighting and winning across the country. Districts shaded in orange are government-controlled. Contested districts are in green. That means Taliban fighters may have surrounded population centres, main cities or villages in the area. Districts in purple are firmly under Taliban control. The number of districts and who controls them is disputed. Let's talk to Fahim Sadat. He is a political and security analyst as well as head of International Relations Department at Kardan University. He joins us on Skype from Kabul. Good to have you with us. So first of all, why is the Taliban now advancing so fast?
See, the Taliban are having operations across Afghanistan in all the zones, if it is north, south, east or west. But what is strange is that they are facing less resistance in the north of Afghanistan. And basically their intensification of violence is because after the security withdrawal of the coalition forces from Afghanistan, a security vacuum has been created. And Taliban are capitalizing over that vacuum which has been created by the withdrawal. So that is why they have intensified the conflict and are having fast battlefield gains, particularly in the north of Afghanistan. These battlefield gains will definitely strengthen the Taliban's position in any coming negotiations, if that is to happen. And as well as this has sent shockwaves from the morale perspective within the government rank and file.
OK, before we get into the negotiations, we've seen some countries like Russia, Iran, Pakistan, India limiting or closing down their consular operations in places like Balkh province. Not a very good sign of confidence. I mean, does that mean basically many expect the Taliban influence to grow even further?
Well, looking at the strategic retreat, particularly that is happening in North Afghanistan, the people who have consulates over there should be concerned because the Taliban are on a rapid advance in the north, and that adds to the ambiguity of the situation. But it is at the same time to the government to prove the doubters wrong and strike back and show the ability and as well as the capability of retaking the lost territories or districts to the Taliban, so that it makes sure that it has the ability to keep the population safe. I think that will help with the neighboring countries to regain the lost confidence.
All right. What is the Taliban strategy now as you see it? Is their strategy simply to make enough gains to gain sufficient leverage on the negotiating table, assumedly with the Afghan government? Or do they think they can completely militarily defeat the Afghan government?
I think the first purpose is more there. I personally believe that, as I said before, the security vacuum that has been created, Taliban are capitalizing over that, and basically they are capturing the rural areas in northern, in all of over the Afghanistan where they can. So in the short term, I think their focus is right now on the battlefield gains, but as the fall closes in Afghanistan, where we're looking at the mountainous regions in the north, that does not, which is not a very battle-friendly environment, then I think the Taliban will return back to negotiations. But until that, the spring and summer offensives and the battlefield gains which Taliban are having now will be definitely used in order to strengthen their position on the negotiating table.
All right, good to get your thoughts. Thank you so much, Fahim Sadat.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
Ethiopia's embattled Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is facing multiple challenges, both at home and abroad. A worsening famine, together with a military conflict that's far from being over in Tigray, and a diplomatic dispute over